Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. That's Dr. Dot, if you're wondering. 2 PhDs, best-selling author, talking about relationships and emotional health, host of the Dr. John Delony Show. He's joining me this hour to help you guys take the right next step for your life and your money.
And my most important title, George Kamel's best friend.
I like that title. That's how you got hired on the resume.
It feels right in my heart.
Doctor was further down. George Kamel's best friend was first.
I got passed through 3 interview levels, which means here at Ramsey, I only had 17 more interview levels to get through, which is awesome.
It is intense. It is rigorous, but it's how we get high-quality people like John through the doors. We are here for you. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Don't be shy. We will be happy to give you our best advice, and it's our opinion, and we are experts on that at the very least. At the very least. Ted is kicking us off in Des Moines, or as some of my friends call it, Des Moines. What is going on, Ted?
Looking for some advice on a potential car move I got to make. I've got an aged car, about 2010, and I need to either purchase a vehicle or lease one through my business, which is what both my tax professional and my lawyer were like, hey, that would be a great tax advantage. It's a good idea for you. What should I do?
Well, I mean, it comes down to, do you want to listen to your accountant and lawyer or just 2 guys hosting a financial call-in show?
Well, I know how Dave feels about leases. I mean, that's kind of a given at this point, but I just don't want to do stupid with some zeros on the end of it and just look back at this and go, oh, yeah, I should have leased the car, or, oh, yeah, I should have just bought it outright.
Do you have a dollar amount on the tax savings?
No, I don't.
That's one of those phrases that folks throw around. Like, you shouldn't pay your house off because you can write the house off. And people don't lay that up against the monthly mortgage payment and the tax and yada, yada they pay, the interest payments they make. This is one of those moments that I would wonder, and I'm making a purely math argument here, and we'll talk about the psychology in a second. I wonder what the actual tax savings would be versus the depreciation of the leased car.
Because that's what you're paying when you lease a car. You're prepaying the depreciation plus other fees.
You're giving a gift to the car dealership because you are paying the depreciation of the vehicle they have, so they can turn around and sell it as a inspected, like, super used car that some Yahoo just paid our depreciation for us.
It's an apartment on wheels, right?
Well, my further question is, why is your lawyer telling you to lease a car? Where does that come into play? I understand.
Yeah, my lawyer keeps me out of jail.
That comes into play. It's my business lawyer, and we have a relationship, and that was kind of a in passing thing.
Okay, you're like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so it wasn't like this is your legal advice. It just happens to be one of the people on my team, and I was like, maybe I'm missing something.
What's your business?
I'm a photographer.
Okay. Well, how much?
This is the greatest call I've ever had.
What is the gross revs and profits in a year?
Right around $400,000.
Is your gross revenue?
Yeah.
And what do you take home? What's on your tax return?
About a quarter of that.
Okay. So you're bringing in, let's say...
A quarter? Really? You have 300, like you have 75% expense on a photography business?
You have a big team?
No, that's just what I pay myself.
Okay. So there's more profit. Are you reinvesting that? What are you doing with all the extra profit?
At the moment, I've made a bunch of physical moves in the business, changed locations. I mean, there's just a lot of moving pieces at the moment.
Do you have any other debt?
And I'm just looking at just a house.
Okay. Are you married or single?
Married.
Okay. What does your spouse think about this?
She made that grimace face when I brought up the lease conversation because I wanted her input, of course. I think she's willing to do whatever is most advantageous for us. But at a glance, she was like, well, let's get the estimate on the car first, see if it's worth putting some money into to make it, kick the can down the road so we can buy a car later.
What's the necessity of having this new car?
Something safe for her and my son to get around in.
Okay, so this isn't really for your business anyways.
It's not, but the vehicle that I currently use on a daily, she would take over, and then we could lease it to the business, and I would use it for business.
Because you have to use the vehicle 50% of the time in order to even have any tax advantages from that lease.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just think you're going to make a very different decision if I just said, hey, how much cash do you have on hand to purchase a used, reliable car versus, hey, what's the sweetest, shiniest whip you can go lease at the dealership? Those are two very different conversations. And that's really the heart of this, is you're going to make a much more, just put it bluntly, a stupid decision if you lease that car versus buying one with cash that you actually have.
Okay.
Usually when people say I want to lease a car for business, they want to drive something super flashy that's going to attract clients, or buy like a 9,000-pound thing they can depreciate and write off on the taxes and get a G-Wagon. And it's generally stupid decisions pumped up by Instagram gurus.
So we are not, You're not that guy. Definitely not. No, I'm not looking for that.
You're a guy who wants a reliable car for his family. And we've both been there. And every time, regardless of our business and tax advantages, we just go, what is the car we can afford in cash?
And you made $400,000 last year. You've got $40,000 to buy a car, right?
I agree. Yeah,
you have the cash.
Doing that today, if I needed to, I'm not worried about that. If we needed to do that today.
So here's what I'm going to tell you as a guy who's not nearly as sophisticated as George is when it comes to the math on all this. If I own a small business, which is what you have, you're very successful at what you do. I mean, you're in the 1% of the 1% of photographers. Everybody wants to get into it, and very few people make it. And you are out of this world successful. I would still be haunted by how many outstanding liabilities I have as the only guy with the line in the water. And I don't care what the tax savings would be. I would pay it as a sole tax. That is my car, and my business can go in the toilet. The economy can tank, and my business can go from $400,000 to $35,000 in 1 year as a photographer, and nobody can come take that car from me. Whereas I just signed a 3-year lease agreement, and those payments are coming out automatic withdrawal, no matter how much money I'm bringing in. And the tax savings simply is not worth the sleep tax it would cost me.
I don't disagree with you. Maybe my question should be, do I need a new tax person and lawyer?
No, I think your tax person's giving you tax advice, and the tax accountant is going to say,
here's all the things you could take advantage of.
That's right. And because you probably sat down as a small business owner and said, all right, help me. And they're trying to cut your tax bill. Here's a way to cut your tax bill. Here's a way. And I think you look at your tax accountant and say, I don't borrow money ever, period. And if they bring it up, cool. And maybe then if they're trying to get you to do something outside of your wheelhouse or outside of your values, then yeah. But no, I don't blame George, I don't blame the tax accountant.
I don't think they're a bad person.
Yeah.
They're doing their job. And if you want to get a second opinion, reach out to a tax pro that's Ramsey trusted. Go to RamseySolutions.com/tax and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm curious if you get a different opinion. But I don't think this is going to bless your life in the way you think it does. There's other ways to get deductions, better ways to skin this cat. That's my final take, John. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, it's Rachel Cruz here to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And Step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. With no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. Find out more at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. If you guys missed it, we have a big announcement this week. The Live Like No One Else cruise is back. Don't call it a comeback, but it kind of is, because 5 years later, we're bringing it back. Join Dave and all of the Ramsey personalities, John and I included, for 7 days at sea, March 22nd through the 29th of 2025. So we're less than a year out. On top of all the Ramsey personalities, we have some amazing musicians, magicians, comedians, you name it, songwriters. They're all going to be with us. Stephen Curtis Chapman, Maneet Chauhan, Dina Carter, Stephen Bargatze, Nate Bargatze's dad, amazing and hilarious magician, will be there. So here's the thing. This is not for everyone. This is for those of you who have been working the Ramsey plan, you've gotten out of debt, you got the emergency fund, you're in baby step 4 and beyond. That's who this is for. This is the ultimate debt-free celebration. We're going to be taking over the entire cruise ship. Imagine that, John. All Ramsey fans. It's going to be electric.
It's a lot of Ramsey in one place.
It's a lot of Ramsey. It's going to be a hot time. Literally, it's going to be hot, I think. Turks and Caicos, St. Thomas, San Juan, the Bahamas, and it's going to sell out because the last one sold out in just a couple of weeks. So VIP upgrades already sold out. You can join a wait list to see if a spot opens up, but you can book your cabin now at ramseysolutions.com/cruise. And I've been getting DMs about this. People want to know, are kids invited? And so I found out from our live events team, they are in fact invited.
No kidding?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So it's kid-friendly. If you want to bring your teenager, your toddler, whatever, they're welcome aboard too. So tell your friends.
I'm going to bring my kids.
Make some friends if you have to. Join us for the Ramsey Cruise, ramseysolutions.com/cruise. All right, Seb is on the line in Atlanta, Georgia. Seb, what is going on?
Hey, so I am trying to find out if right now is the right time for me to finish my bachelor's degree in engineering. I got my 2-year degree and got into the workforce to work as an engineering technician. I'm married, have a 1.5-year-old. We have a very, very low-cost mortgage in rural Georgia, and my employer is encouraging me to use the $5,000 tuition reimbursement plan to get back to finishing what's left of my bachelor's degree for that promotion and moving up in the company. What that would look like is probably taking out some federal aid and having that reimbursed every year at the federal tax limit that my company offers. I just don't know if right now is a good time because I am paying back some current student loans, but I would like to finish my degree sooner rather than later.
I think everything you said is, for me, is an all steam ahead, except I don't think you have to take out the federal loans.
Okay.
I either as your family, I'll figure it out if it's reimbursable within one paycheck cycle, if that's how they roll. And I know some companies do. The other way around it is, I think you sit down and ask your boss, say, hey, you know how much I make. I've got a 1-year-old. Can we prepay this if I hand you the bill? Right? Versus getting all tangled up in the finance mess. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to take out a loan. They're going to send you $7,500. You're going to put $5,000 down, and then they're going to say, it'd be cool if you had this program. And you'll be like, oh, I'll just buy that program. And then your transmission will fall out of your car, and your boss will reimburse you $5,000, and you'll use $3,500 of that on your transmission. And I know this because that exact thing happened to me.
It sounded personal.
It was very personal. So I would not trust myself with federal aid money just floating around because it's real easy for all that to just to go away. But an engineering degree, you have a boss looking at you saying, this is going to help you move up in this company. It's going to help you. And I'm willing to put some skin in the game and contribute to this. I would pause. George, tell me if I'm wrong, but I would pause paying back my student loans and knock this bachelor's degree out once and for all and let that be a rocket ship for you professionally.
What does your total debt load look like?
Currently, I have $23,000 in student loans over the course of the 3 years and some change. I ended up working full time. I got married while I was in college and got into the workforce because experience in engineering matters. And I wanted to have some experience while I was in school. So now I'm trying to just round it out and get to that accredited engineering position.
So what do you make now?
Right now I make about $68,000 to $69,000 a year, right in that range.
Cool. And you have no other debt other than the student loans?
We have a mortgage of about $1,200 a month,
okay.
all inclusive. Yep.
And your wife is at home with the 1.5-year-old?
That's right. Mom's staying at home, and I'm working a second job to pay off the student loans.
So would you continue working full-time while doing this program nights and weekends?
Yes, I would actually be a fully remote student to finish out the work that's left, because all of that is actually available for me as a remote
So
student.
there'd be no dip in income.
No dip in income apart from figuring out how to pay in advance the coursework required.
Yeah, man, I would figure that out ASAP. And I would. How much do you lack?
I'm about 70% there, 75% there.
So how much total is this going to cost you?
Probably around $15,000, given the estimation that the university provided me.
That's a no-brainer.
with my
So
transfer
15
credit.
grand, and they're going to reimburse $5 total?
My company will cover 100% of tuition year on year up to the federal tax limit, which is $5,500 a year, approximately.
Okay. So what if you covered the difference with cash and you were able to still do this? How quickly could you save up the difference to get through this first year and then save up the difference for the next year and be done?
I could probably keep rolling it in at the rate that they will reimburse it.
Okay. So how quickly
And
would this
without
all
dipping
happen?
into the red.
It's
This
18.
would probably happen within a year and a half.
And you'd be done.
Completely
And
done.
this would increase your income exponentially? What's on the other side of this for your career?
I would move to holding a position as a project engineer, which is a project lead position, a more senior role, and a range of about $20,000 annually increase.
So you could be making 90 if you finish this thing.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is as no-brainer as they come.
But here's the key. You have to do all this aggressively, and you're not touching debt. That's the agreement. Because the faster you do this, the faster you save up cash, the faster you get through the program, the faster you make more money, the faster you get out of the rest of your debt, and you're home free. But we don't want to look up and have 15 more grand on top of the 23. And there's going to be no lifestyle creep. You're going to keep living the same way even when you get that raise.
Right. We're staying in the green right now, and I'm working a second job to pay off those student loans. So it'd be nice to, go back into school, and everything goes into forbearance once you become a student again, as it stands.
Yeah, I think this is a good plan if you do it without debt and you move as quickly as possible. You don't want to drag this out because we want to see all of that debt gone on top of not accumulating any. And John, this is a big thing people grapple with. Should I go back to school? How do I do it? How do I cash flow it? What would you say to people coming from that world?
There's a couple of things. One is if you are 70% done, finish your degree. I haven't met somebody yet. And of course, I worked in higher ed for 20 years. I've obviously got a bias here. I've never met somebody who went back and finished and said, I shouldn't have done that. I've never met that person. I've met people who said I shouldn't have got this graduate degree. I shouldn't have gone to college, period. I've never met somebody who's 70% done that's like, I shouldn't have done that. The second thing I always want people to do is go ask your employer if they'll help out. And this guy's employer will cover all of it. And that makes it a no-brainer for me. And when people say, well, I can't do this, outside of med school and law school, maybe one or two other programs, I worked a full-time job. I had a part-time job. I was a full-time associate dean. I was a part-time professor, an adjunct professor, and the father, not a great one, of two small kids, a husband, and a full-time PhD student. You can figure it out for a few years. And is it awful? Yes. Does it pay off on the back end? If you are getting the right degrees, oh, absolutely it does. And so it's just like the gazelle intensity. There's a few years of misery for an entirely new family legacy on the back end. It's when you start taking out federal loans just because I'm just going to go do this right now because it'll be easier, and then we'll settle up on the back end. You get laid off. Something else happens. You need the cash in your house. You don't finish.
You're still stuck with. They don't have to forgive the debt just because you didn't finish the degree.
That's right.
That's where people find themselves.
Your company has to lay people off, and so they cut this program out. No debt. Just knock it out, knock it out, knock it out. But yes, I'm always a fan of going back and finishing that degree.
Even if you move slower, it's still a better
Always.
path long term and gives more peace to your family, especially if you've got a stay-at-home spouse. So we don't want to see a dip in income, and we don't want to see any more debt accumulated. That's the key. Thanks for the call, Seb. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to get up to 40% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You call in and we'll help you take the right next step for your life and your money. And hey, while you're listening to the show, it's a free show, may I remind you. There's one thing that you could do for us that's also free. It would only take you a moment, and that is to share the show, to consider subscribing, hitting the follow button, leaving a kind review, telling people about it. You are the greatest marketing plan we have, and it helps our budget because we don't spend a whole lot on that. You don't see big billboards out there. You guys are the best marketing we have just by telling your friends, word of mouth. It is powerful, and it's working, and we thank you guys. We want to reach more people through this platform. All right, let's get to the phones. Maureen is in Palm Springs, California up next. Maureen, what's happening?
Hi, how are you?
We're doing great. How can we help?
So I'm familiar with the baby steps. I try to be a good steward of them, but I seem to continuously sabotage myself. So I just need to know, how can I be more diligent in, I guess, following them?
How do you sabotage yourself?
I make that budget. I am on it every day, checking, making sure I'm tracking my expenses. And then one of the family members that I have a need, or I personally will be like, well, I guess I can go out of town and go and do that. And so then I have to recalculate everything. And then I push my...
So you're getting stuck on the meticulous numbers, and one thing throws a wrench in the plans, and you go, oh my gosh, I failed again.
Oh, no, I think it's deeper than that. I think the budget's like a... It's like a toy. It's like something. It's just something for you to fiddle with. It's almost like a fidget spinner. But your real identity is, if any family member calls for any reason, I'm the hero and I'll save that. Or I'm only going to live once, and so I'm just going to go do whatever I want to do. I'm going to take care of right now me and forget about next year Maureen.
I guess it... Well, if the family calls and they need something, I'm going to cut from my budget line that I have assigned for me. I mean, mind you, it's like minimal for my personal expenses for the month. But
why are you putting your oxygen mask on them before you? You're not in a place to be giving right now.
When you say family, are these your children? Is this a spouse? Who's calling you up going, hey, we need to spend this?
Yeah, adult children.
Ah, how old are we talking?
30.
Oh boy,
Maureen.
I can count on zero fingers how many times I have called my parents for money since I was, 20 years old. So this seems to be, there's a systemic problem where they go, well, mom is going to be sweet and send us some money because we're struggling. What do they need at 30 that something they can't provide for themselves?
Well, I'm providing quite a bit for them already.
Why?
That they live
Wait, why? Maureen, what do you feel guilty about?
It just seems difficult for them to make that step into independence.
It does because their mom won't let them go.
I wouldn't leave either. This sounds like a brilliant plan. I get to live at home for free. Mom pays for all my expenses.
And then when I run out of money, I call mom, and she cuts herself off at the knees to keep
my
my
lifestyle
restaurant
propped
budget
up.
going.
Okay. Well, I have made some steps. Where
Listen,
I
she's
said,
like,
okay,
all right, I'm done with you two.
Yeah, you need some problems. Yeah, you need some problems is what I've heard and listened to. And so
Yes.
I implemented like, okay, you've got to pay me rent. And so apartment 1, you give me $300, and apartment 2, you give me $750 is what I tell them. And it doesn't come with any concierge services. So I'm trying to like implement those steps.
How old are you,
I think
Maureen?
Oh, I'm 48.
What are your financial goals?
To be debt free.
So you
and
still
to pay
have
off
debt?
My mortgage as soon as possible.
Okay. So you have consumer
I do.
debt?
I have $15,000. I have $15,000 in debt. Yes, and I have $187,000 on my mortgage.
Okay.
Hold on, I just got. Sorry, George. No concierge
What'd I do?
service, as though you'll show them.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
that I'm going to check the mail for them. I'm not going to go run and grab food for them on my way home.
How would that even be in your mind that you had to say that out loud? They're 30.
Because that's what they asked for.
I think we need a hard boundary conversation to say, listen, I love you guys, and I have loved you too hard, and I have stunted your growth, and that part is on me. But there's a part that's your responsibility, and that is going to live your freaking life. So you have 6 months to get a plan and get out of this house and find an apartment. And if you need 7
I think that's
roommates
too
and a
long.
third job, I'm just saying we need a game
yeah.
plan to get out.
Maureen, have you ever gone to a gym and worked out?
Yes, I hate it.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Here's what you're doing for your kids. They're going to the gym, and they're looking at you saying, Mom, I've got to get stronger. I've got to. I can't live my life like this. I got to get stronger. And you said, okay, I'll go with you. And you walk into the gym, and when they lay down on the bench to lift some weights, you run over there and take all the weight off the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And they push the bar up with no weight on it, and they're now 30, and they're wondering why they can't navigate the world. They're not strong enough. And it's because you keep using them to make yourself feel like you're being a good mom. And that's not their job. Why do you feel this need to keep... There's got to be some guilt you're trying to wipe. I mean, I don't know. What are you trying to solve or accomplish by giving 30-year-olds this much support and care? Do they have special needs? Or they just don't want to work? Or what's the deal?
No. Yeah, they're working. He just finished school, and he took a pause for a bit, and then his fiance is finishing going back to school, and I told them a few months back when I gave them their rent notice that they were going to have to start paying rent that, let's revisit this in June, because if it's working until June, and then, then we'll see where we go from there. But if it's not working, then...
How far below is $300? How far below is that a market rent?
Oh, gosh. I mean, that's nothing.
Exactly.
And that's for the youngest one who will pay me whatever I want. And this is the thing. I tell them, I don't need your money. I just need you to do your thing.
But they need your money.
They need your money.
Focus on me. Yeah.
So my worry, there's a lot of problems here. Number one is that you haven't put your own mask on first. You're going to remain broke while sacrificing for your kids that can't start their adult life. So that's problem number one. And the other problem here is that their growth will continue to be stunted as long as they still have this sweet scenario. And so your job is not to be cruel, but to be honest on both sides and say, I haven't done a great job of doing this. You guys need to step it up. I'm going to give you 3 months to find a place to live, and I will help you leave gracefully. You don't need to kick them out on the street and evict them, but this is a problem that's gone on far too long. I literally thought you were calling to be like, my 8-year-old needs saxophone reads for band.
Yeah.
This is a 30-year-old grown adult.
Or a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
Or someone about to be married.
My youngest is married, and this is where I say I self-sabotage myself, right? I have my plan. My youngest is married, and I said, well, instead of you guys, carrying that burden of finishing nursing school one semester, why don't you just stay here for a year, and then after that, then go ahead and get your own place? And they're looking to buy, but that's going to take them like at least another 6 months.
They need to rent. Give them.
They've been saving.
They can go sign a 6-month lease.
Tell them this.
And get used to paying their own bills.
I want to be your mom and not your landlord. I want to be your mom and not your bank. And I can't do both. And if they choose, well, we wanted you to be our bank, then y'all need to have that conversation. But I
Can I ask a hard question, Maureen? What happened to Dad?
Sure. Oh, that's a whole other call.
But I think a lot of this stems from the fact.
Yeah, no, he's there. He's here, but
Is he?
I don't.
Because it sounds like you've taken on the brunt of all of this, and maybe part of it is because of what's happening with Dad, and you feel like you need to be the savior and hold this family together.
Well, no, he's here. We're married. I just financially don't do anything with him. I do nothing financially with him.
That seems to be part of this problem.
Align.
I would start there.
Align. Yeah.
And I wonder if you're trying to buy a continued relationship with your kids. And you want to ask about why you can't keep a budget? Because you got a lot of stuff going on.
The budget's not the problem, Maureen. We have to have a lot of hard conversations really soon. I'm so sorry. This is The Ramsey Show.
Your home is probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make. And with the real estate market like it is now, you'll need a mortgage company you can trust. That's Churchill Mortgage. You guys, buying a home is not a button push. It's a process. It takes building a relationship with an expert who will dig into the details and give you peace of mind without busting your budget. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country. And they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Go to churchillmortgage.com to get started.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Carmen is up next in Cincinnati. What is happening, Carmen?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I appreciate everything you all do to help people.
Thank you.
So I'm looking for guidance for how best to contribute for retirement. My husband and I are self-employed small business owners, and this is new as of 2024. In 2023, we had kind of a hybrid year where he had a W-2 job, and then we had a side business that was a house renovation. And so our income from 2023 was quite a bit higher than we're used to. But now, now that the ship got close to the dock, we are going to try to take that ship and make our own income higher. So
Awesome. So you're going full-time with the small business, both of you.
Yes.
What kind of business is this?
It's a high-end property maintenance and renovation business.
Wonderful. What do you think you'll make this year doing that between the two of you?
I'm hopeful that we will net $100,000 to $120,000 for our household income.
Cool. And your question today is about retirement?
Yes. So I understand that match beats Roth, beats traditional, and I'm curious if we should just jump straight to the Roth, or if there's a different. I don't know how to match myself, I guess.
Oh, sure.
As far as
yeah, that's generally for if if you're working for an employer that has the match. That may be you guys one day. Who knows? But for now, there's one option for anyone with earned income, and that is a Roth IRA. And so both of you can fund a Roth IRA to the max. I believe it's $7,000 for this year. And so both of you can do that. Your other option, a lot of self-employed folks and small business owners don't realize that just because they don't have a big employer, there's still some really cool retirement options where they can put away even more money than a traditional employee. And one of the most popular ones, this one might be for you guys, is the solo 401k. Sometimes called the individual individual 401k. So as long as just you and your spouse and you have no other employees, you should be eligible to contribute to this.
Okay.
And as the boss, you can contribute an additional percentage of your net income to that 401k, up to $61,000 if you're under 50. Are you guys under 50?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And it's even more if you're 50 or older.
So to reach the 15%, where does that number come from? Is that what we pay ourselves?
That's from your gross income for the year. So whatever's on your taxes, that's what the number you want to be basing it off of.
So as a self-employed couple, is our gross income our business income this year?
Yeah, any profit. I mean, if you're working with your tax pro and you go, hey, our income minus our deductions and all of that, this is really what we took home. They don't care how much you took home. It's still profit from a business perspective, and so you're going to have to pay taxes on that.
Okay, so 15% of whatever the number is that we pay taxes.
So let's say it's $120,000, like you mentioned. You guys should be putting away $18,000. And so maybe you both fully fund a Roth IRA. That's 14, and you put another 4 in a solo 401k.
Okay, and then, so because this is also like new to us, should I just park money in like a high yield savings quarterly or till the end of the year just so I don't step in anything?
For taxes?
Miss a big number. Taxes or retirement, both.
Well, for high yield savings is for your short-term goals, not for investing and for retirement. So it's a great place to store your money for tax reasons. And so I would do quarterly estimated payments to the IRS if I were you. Make sure you stay on top of that. And so whatever money you get, put away 25, 30% in a high yield savings account and then file those taxes every quarter. And do you have a bookkeeper right now, or are you guys doing it all yourself?
I am the bookkeeper. For
Wonderful.
Now.
And you're the best one we got. So,
all right, Carmen, I want to ask George a question on your behalf, okay? So, George, you're talking about 18% of the net of the business at 120. If, like some small business owners, they kick off a small business and they're not going to take home a draw. They're going to pay themselves $10,000 a year for the first 2 years while this thing gets up, and they're going to scratch and claw. Would they pay 15% of that $10,000 as their quote unquote salary?
Well, I think it's whatever the actual profits were from the business. So you can say I paid myself $0. The government doesn't care because what they see is John brought in $200,000.
Well, you got to pay taxes on that, but
as far as investing your 15%,
correct? Yeah,
that would be based off of the gross income that you took home,
off your draw of whatever you made.
So if you took $120,000 before taxes, that's what you want to be investing from.
Okay, but if your business made $120,000 total. After, let's say you grossed 120, like your total expenses, your total net was 200,000. It took 80 grand to run that business. You have 120 grand. You're going to pay taxes on that. You're going to pay yourself. You
still invest before
husband
the taxes
is 10,
are out.
Wife is 10. That's what your take home is. So you're going to pay taxes. You're going to take 15% of 20 grand.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and that's the way to do it. And as the business grows, you'll invest more. And I think that solo 401k is a great option for you. And I would contact one of a SmartVestor Pro, and these folks can help you navigate what the best option is for you. There's a lot of different options. There's simple IRAs and SEP IRAs. But from my experience, I found that most business owners that are solo or have a spouse working with them, the solo 401k is the best option they found. So you can go to RamseySolutions.com and click on SmartVestor, and they can help you get that all set up and help you with the right strategy. But I hope that at least helps you take the right next step.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for the call, Carmen. Way to go. That's a scary moment stepping into small business full time, but what an exciting time. And you guys have done it the right way, getting that boat close to the dock. It's not a leap of faith. It's just a step. All right, let's go to Terry in Houston, H-Town, John's favorite place. What's going on, Terry?
Hey, guys. How are you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can John and I help?
My question is, should I use the money that I have in savings to pay off debt to start cleaning up my credit in preparation to try and buy a new home?
Okay, tell us about your situation. How much debt do you have?
Oh, combined, my wife and I have about $110,000 in debt.
That's consumer debt?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, actually, part of that's a home. Part is student loan, and then $17,000 of the debt is mine.
So what do you mean it's in a home? Because you're living in a home right now and you're going to sell it and buy a new one?
Yeah, we're living in a home. We have a home equity loan that we have right now, and we're down to about $58,000 on the loan left.
Okay.
She's got $33,000 in student loan, and then, like I said, I have under my name $17,000 in debt. $15,000 of that is really stupid debt that's already been charged off. And I'm not sure the best way to fix this.
Okay, how long ago was that? How long it's been in collections for?
A lot of this has been a long time.
Okay.
But
You
there's
might be able to
still-
negotiate that for some, pennies on the dollar at this point and see if they'll take a lump sum and call it paid in full and get that all in writing. But as far as buying a house, it sounds like you guys are not. How much do you have in savings? Do you have enough to pay all this off?
Not to pay all of it. I've got about $40,000 in savings right now.
Okay. That's all the cash to your name. And that would get your debt down to $70,000?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're following the baby steps, $1,000 starter emergency fund is what you're aiming for, and then anything beyond that needs to go toward your debt snowball. And so if you want to leave, take 39 of that and leave 1,000 in there and start crushing down that debt, I think that's a great move. And start paying them smallest to largest balance. So I'm guessing your 17 is the smaller of the balances, followed by her
Correct.
student loans, and then the HELOC
Correct.
is the big one at the end.
Yes, sir.
What's your household income?
Right now, we bring home monthly right at about $6,200.
Okay, good. So the question
that's going
becomes...
to change before now and the end of the year. For me, it's going to increase.
Okay.
Just don't know when yet.
You're not sure when. Well, every single cent that you can muster up beyond your normal expenses, food, utility, shelter, transportation, throw at the debt. And knocking out, 39 of that today is going to feel really good and free up some payments and get you out of this debt faster. But I don't think you're ready to buy a house until you're at that spot. No debt at all, emergency fund in place, 3 to 6 months. Then we start saving up a down payment, and your credit will probably have solved itself by then. Thanks for the call, Terry. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Thank you to my co-host, Dr. John Delony, all the guys in the booth keeping the show afloat, and you, America. We'll be back before you know it. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm Ramsey personality George Kamel, joined by my good friend, Dr. John Delony. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You call us, and we will do our best to help you take the right next step for your life, your relationships, your mental health, and your money. Megan is going to kick us off in Rochester, New York. What's going on?
Hi. So I'm just trying to get some advice with my trying to buy a house in about February, March 2025. I make about $68,000 a year. I am a single household, no kids, no significant other, and because of the financial economy right now, it's not an option not to buy because rising rents. So I'm preparing to buy next year to also take advantage of a $20,000 grant that can be applied towards principal or closing costs. My situation, or my question rather, is what to do with some extra money. My parents are taking out a HELOC loan to pay off my private student loans.
Please don't do any of the things you're doing, Megan.
Is this already
All
happened?
the things you're saying, please don't do any of these things.
It's already in process. So without the student loan, I will be able to buy, but with the student loan, my minimum payment for it is $722, and I already talked to a realtor, and they said I maybe could get approved for a $100,000 house, which is nothing. He said it's not impossible, but he was like, it would be very, very hard to find a house. So all of the documents are already signed and everything for the HELOC, and it would free up $455 out of my monthly payments.
I know, but it just put your parents' house on the block. And so whenever you buy a house, make sure you've got space for them to move in with you someday.
Because their chances of retiring just went way down.
Oh, man.
Okay, they already are retired?
I want to go back to a thing
Not
you said
happily.
earlier. My
Right.
initial gut reaction to you had something about rents are going up, so it's just there's only one path forward. Anytime somebody says there's only one path forward, there's only two options. I always want to just pause and completely clear the deck. Talk to me about that, because I would rather, like, just listening to your story, I would rather. If you were my sister, you were my kid, you were one of my best friends, I would tell you, dude, don't do any of the things you're doing. Move in with your parents. If that's the option, move in with them for a while. Talk to me about how there is just simply zero, no chance, no how can you rent a house for a season or an apartment.
I am renting right now.
Okay.
I'm renting a one-bedroom apartment for $1,000.
Okay.
But rents are continuing to rise. My parents live in New Jersey, so we live in totally different states, and the job market for my field is not there. So
What's wrong with paying $1,000 for rent, making 68? That's not the problem here.
no, if it would stay 1,000, that would be great. But
Let's say it goes to
rents
1,100.
going up.
Or
Still not a
1,200.
deal breaker.
Yeah.
1,500. It's still not the thing that's holding you back.
No, so my issue is if rent keeps rising, it's going to lower the amount that I can save for a house. And interest rates going up, it's going to get to the point where I'm too underwater to even get a house.
Do you have insider knowledge that interest rates are going to continue to go up?
I don't, but that's the way they've been going.
She knows something.
You're on the internet so much. Here's the deal. We may not be able to help you because it sounds like you got this all figured out. I would tell you, just as a guy that's owned a bunch of houses and a guy that had to go see a doctor because I was so catastrophic in my future predictions. And by the way, they've all 100% of them I've been wrong on, all of them. I want you to solve for peace, not for imaginary catastrophes that have or haven't happened yet. Are rents going to go up? Yep. That's the way rents work, especially in a culture that refuses to build new homes. It refuses to build new houses to let people build. So, yes, rent is going to go up. Is it going to go up to the tune of putting your parents' house on the block? No, it's not. Even if it went up 100% and your rent was $2,000, you can still afford that somewhat comfortably on your salary. Annoying, but somewhat comfortably. And I don't believe that interest rates are going to go up indefinitely from now and forever until the end of time.
Or saying is this desperation is going to lead you to make a rash and poor decision when you're not ready for it. So how much debt do you have?
I have about $115,000, including that $48,000 from the private loan that's getting paid off.
So even with your parents taking on this HELOC, you're still going to be left personally owing $80,000?
Yes, my federal student loan is in deferment until 2026. I have a $25,000 car loan left and a $5,000 personal loan.
What career field are you in?
Like social work, care management.
Okay. I used to teach graduate counseling courses, okay, mental health professionals. And I've had to have this terrible, uncomfortable, awful conversation. And that is, with particular students in particular situations, I believe you when you tell me you were put on this earth to sit with hurting people and to figure out how to support and love hurting people in our communities, the least of these, and how to navigate the messy systems that they have to navigate. And I'll also tell you, I told my students it is unethical for you to stand up in front of people and help them, and at the same time you be so terrified that you can't breathe because of how much money you make. And so at some point you may have to say, okay, either I got to take a second job for 2 or 3 years until I can right this ship, or I'm going to have to go get a different kind of job and put my calling on hold for a season because I simply can't afford to live in the place where I want to live and do the job that I want to do. Because it sounds like
I have a second job.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was afraid you were going to say. You're already ahead of me. Here's my fear. Your biggest war is against math. And it's not going to change. And you owe $150,000 and your parents are going backwards to help, and you're going to go backwards to help, and you're going backwards to try to get, you see what I'm saying? It's just this, you're in a car and the wheels are spinning. And I'm only telling you this because I love you And I just don't want to see you go so deep. I want the world to be able to experience your help as a trained social worker because we need you. But you can't breathe right now, right?
I'm living comfortably where I am. Like I said, I just because I have my total expenses monthly is about $3,400, and I bring in a little over $5,000.
Good.
So I'm
that all needs to go to the debt. What's your car payment,
Has
Megan?
to go to debt.
$575.
What's your personal loan payment?
$205.
Okay, I just added that up. We're talking $1,400 in debt payments. $1,000 rent is not the problem. You could free up $1,400 if you got aggressive at this debt. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you a copy of my book, Breaking Free from Broke. I want you to read it all the way through and send me a DM and let me know if that helps and if we can help in any other way. So hang on the line. We'll send you a copy of that book. Wishing you the best.
Hey guys, Ramsey Solutions started small and grew fast. Because of that rapid growth, there were times when our systems slowed us down. That's why we switched to NetSuite. It works for us and it'll help your business too. Whether you're starting on a card table like I did, or you're well on your way to becoming a multi-million-dollar company, NetSuite can scale with you and help you communicate and plan better. Because you know your day-to-day up and down and sideways, but accounting, analytics, and supply chain are on another level. So maybe you're just not tech savvy. That can be okay. NetSuite will help at your speed and whatever your situation. More than 37,000 companies use NetSuite to know their numbers and their business better. So check out NetSuite today and find out how they can help you become the business you want to be 5 or 30 years from now. And right now, you can download NetSuite's free KPI checklist designed to give you consistently excellent performance at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. Open phones at 888-825-5225. It's time for a question of the day, and today's question comes from a student, Travis B. from Bryan High School.
All right, the question is, how do I approach my parents to talk about money when I'm learning about the baby steps and they never have been very good with their own money? Great question, Great question.
Does Dave call this one powdered butt syndrome? Like parents don't want to hear financial advice from the kid they were changing diapers for.
Yeah, two things. They usually don't want to hear about sex and they don't want to hear about money. Like, I don't want to talk to you about that. I changed your diapers, right? I think this is going to depend on your household. So, for instance, in my house, I do not want to raise a son and a daughter. I've got 2 kids. I don't want to raise 2 kids that are compliant, meaning they never ask me to explain why I do what I do. Or if they see me having trouble with something, my son the other day said, "Dad, why don't you just pick all that stuff up and take it out of the car when you get here instead of getting all mad when your coffee won't go in the coffee holder and it's full of all these cans?"
You raised a prodigy.
Well, I looked at him. I was like, how about you just shut your... Right. But I want my kids to question things, because I don't want them to go out into the world and just accept whatever
culture says.
Right. And so in my house, I would love for my son to be like, "Hey, I don't understand why y'all have so much tension. You're always complaining about bills and you'll have these credit card things. I'm learning about it. Can you teach me about that?" Like, and that's how we teach our kids. Obviously, be respectful. I've learned, which I'm doing, is just naive. That's not how most people do it. And so most parents don't want to hear anything from their high school kids, especially points of pain in the household. And so this is a good moment when I think all high schoolers, college students begin to imagine their world as they get older And sometimes we want to take things from our childhood. I want to be a dad just like my dad. Or sometimes we say, I'm never going
the
to
opposite
do this.
direction.
Right? I don't ever want my kids to experience what this is. And so I think this is one of those moments that maybe you can't. Maybe you begin to get your summer job or your everyday job, and your parents are like, well, you got money. And you say, well, I'm saving this much money. I don't use credit cards. I don't use debt. I'm following the baby steps. And maybe it's an invitation for them to say, well, tell me about that. Versus, I'm going to lecture my mom and dad. That ain't happening, right?
Exactly. And part of this, we're taking this question. It's Financial Literacy Month, and one of the ways we're celebrating that is taking questions from actual students at high schools that are teaching our foundations and personal finance curriculum. So the interesting part is these students are going to school learning how the credit score is a scam and how credit cards keep people broke. And then they're going home and they're going, hey, Mom, here's what I learned today. And the parents are like, what? They taught you what? You need that, son. The credit score is a good thing. So naturally, conversations will be struck up from this. And so if I was the student, I would come home and they go, hey, son, how was school today? I go, it was actually really cool. We took this finance class and I'm learning about credit scores. And did you know this? If you come at it from a place of just like curiosity, empathy, excitement, hopefully, if you have, healthy parents, they'll go, tell me more about that, really.
Or they'll call the school district and be like, let's ban that book. Ban the book.
Yeah, we need to teach our kids that there's good debt and they should all be taking it out. So part of this is...
Fire that teacher for teaching my kids something I don't agree with.
This might be a 10-year journey of trying to convince your parents that there's a better way to handle money, and it might never work.
Right.
And you have to grapple with that. But I think the best way to talk about it is from your own perspective, your own experiences, and asking good questions. And you can disagree politely. Don't disrespect your family here, but you also don't pay bills. So again, they're not going to take your opinion with a lot of weight,
right,
when they're still covering all of your expenses.
And be all high school kids, be slow to judge your parents, because you don't know the full picture of what they're going through, and they're not having every conversation with you, and you think you know everything, but you don't. And I also think very few people don't like to teach something that they know. And even if they're not great at it, right? So maybe the approach as a high school kid is, hey, we're taking this finance class, we're learning all about money. Will you teach me about how y'all budget? Like, can I sit and watch y'all budget? Because I want to know how to do this. I'm learning this at school. And you might find, yeah, we don't do that in our house. And then you might ask, would y'all be willing to do that? I'm learning about it at school. I just want to try it.
Can you help me with mine?
Right. Can you teach me with mine? And so everybody likes to help somebody when they come and sit before them and say, will you teach me something?
Yeah.
Right. That feels good.
And planting some seeds and going, hey, I'm going to go buy the Total Money Makeover and Breaking Free from Broke, and go, hey, I'm reading this book. It'd be really fun if you guys are open to it. I'd love to read it with you guys. Yeah. And, we talk about it
and
as I learn about money.
Again, I trust me, I'm not the parent of the year. But one of those conversations I started when my son was younger was, I'm going to read a book, and occasionally I'll say, you got to read this book. And he gets the right to say, Dad, you got to read this book. And so I find myself reading these science fiction-y, I don't understand them, but here we go. And my son's sitting over there reading The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter, right? He just buzzed through the Anxious Generation book by the author of The Coddling of the American Mind. I'm Jonathan Haidt. He read it before I did, right? And it was on the desk. And all I have to say is, if you start when your kids are young with this idea that we read books and you read a book and you read a book, then maybe when your high school kid stumbles on something that's important to them, they already have a mental map of, all right, let's read this together. And you can go with them on that.
That's beautiful. Well, I hope that helps, Travis B. Hope that helps you. There's no easy way to do this, and it may not go well, but you lead with empathy, humility, experience, and curiosity. I think it'll go better for you. All right, let's go to the phones. Haney is in Chattanooga. What's going on, Haney?
Hey, so I'm getting married in August, and I've only got a car loan. That is the only debt that I have in my name. And she doesn't have any debt, but I'm wondering, is there any way that I can get out of this debt before I get married? Because I know the number one reason for divorce in marriage is finances, and I want our marriage to succeed. Obviously, I do, or I wouldn't get married. So I'm trying to figure out how I do that, or if it's even possible, if I just need to eat beans and rice and pay it off and just get at it.
Well, I'll tell you this, based on how you just set that all up, your marriage success is not going to be based on whether you walk into this with a car loan. And so I don't want you to hold that pressure over you, like, I'm a bad husband already, I'm a failure. I think your spirit to want to set your family up for success aggressively, That's what's going to carry you.
And it's fights about money, or it's misalignment about money, not the actual debt amount that you walk into a marriage with.
But it sure helps when you can walk in with no debt. So what's your car loan? What's left?
So it is 35.1 right now.
How much do you make a year?
I make around 40,000, give or take some. I make 20 an hour, but I do make commission on certain things.
So when you say 35.1, are you talking about $35,000?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, 35,000.
Okay.
Sell it, homie.
The
Bye,
good news,
Felicia.
you will be out of debt by the time you're married because you're selling this thing next week.
Today, this weekend.
Well, the thing is, I'm upside down in it. I made a bad financial decision when I was back in 2020. My car had broken down, and I bought a 2011 Jeep. And basically, I bought a lemon. So a couple months ago, I brought it to the dealership. I'm like, hey, I can't drive this anymore. It's been in here more than I've driven it. And they're like, okay, we've got this brand new 2024 Toyota Corolla.
Brilliant.
We can do a trade with you. And the way they played it out to me, it would just be an even trade. And I didn't really pay attention. It's stupid of me. I realize that.
How upside down are you?
And $8,000 upside down.
Okay, so even if you sold it today and you have $8,000 in debt plus $5,000 more to go get another car,
right?
You just cut your debt by $22,000.
Right.
So you can go to your local credit union and say, hey, I'm looking for a loan for $13,000. That'll cover the $8,000 you're upside down on and give you $5,000 to go get a beater car for now.
Okay.
And you're going to be you're going to have some head hanging because you're going to like walk around with a little bit of shame because you were driving a brand new car and now you're driving a car that your fiance is going to be like, oh, are we still in love? I don't know if I still love you. Just kidding. She'll still love you.
If I got rid of this, I do not care. I don't have a problem with driving an old car.
No, I'm playing with you, of course. I know. But yeah, I would.
You guys scrape together a difference, either with cash or with a loan. And that's the only times we say it's okay to get a loan because this is getting you out of debt so much faster. So I'm wishing you the best. This is not going to be fun. We're amputating the Tahoe, or in this case, the Toyota. Never trust the dealership, man. You got hosed, and I'm sorry, but hey, we're going to send you Financial Peace University as a little wedding gift on us, so hang on the line.
You know, it doesn't take a degree in statistics to realize that this one stinks. 93% of undergraduate private student loans are co-signed. So when you're delinquent and drowning in private student loan debt, mom or dad or Uncle Joe is stuck in that financial stress along with you. But there is a way out. Why Refi? Why Refi offers a custom refinancing option with a fixed rate loan based on your ability to pay. And the average interest rate Why Refi offers is 3.9%, which can significantly reduce your monthly payment and decrease your total cost. Why Refi refinances your defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch. And I trust them to help you get out of debt. So don't be another statistic in the student loan swamp. Contact Why Refi at 844-2-RAMSEY or go to whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's 844-2-RAMSEY or the letter Y, then REFY.com/Ramsey.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. The number to call is 888-825-5225. We are about to kick off our live event season. We've got the Entree Leadership Summit event happening soon, and we also have Total Money Makeover Weekend, happening May 10th and 11th. And this is the whole gang, all the Ramsey personalities, Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Delony, Ken Coleman, Jade Warshaw, Rachel Cruz, myself, and we are going to help you create good, healthy money habits and change your relationship with money for good. So we're going to cover all the things you want to know. We're hitting the classics, of course, getting out of debt, creating a budget, communicating better with your spouse about finances, easing anxiety around money with Dr. John Delony, how to make more money, and, from the long term and the short term with our friend Ken Coleman, how to invest, build a retirement of your dreams, how to own a home instead of it owning you. All of that is happening. So this weekend-long event is the ultimate motivator to get you fired up and live the life you've always wanted. We're going to be doing a live taping of Smart Money Happy Hour with Rachel Cruz and I on Friday night. You don't want to miss that, along with a kickoff from Dave. There's going to be live interactive Q&As throughout the weekend. We'll all be hanging out, meeting you. It's going to be such a good time. We had a great time last time we did this, a different event up there at the new rec center. And it's a destination event now. People come from all over the country just to see us and hang out.
Yeah, and I kind of got my feelings hurt. We weren't doing a live recording of my show, and then I realized probably not good for
morale. Yeah. We want this to be a pep rally, John.
Not a... Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, your show is wonderful.
Yeah, but it can be awkward with a couple thousand people and their kids in the audience.
Yeah, maybe not quite cut for a live event crowd quite yet.
Not live family event crowd. That's right. Yeah. There you
but
go.
Hey, this
if it was
one,
adults only, perfect.
That can be a separate event. That's an add-on. So don't wait to get your tickets. Platinum tickets are already sold out. You can still get VIP. Sorry, Platinum Plus is already sold out. We have Platinum and VIP. Few left there. General admission still available. Get your tickets now at RamseySolutions.com/events. Get it in the budget. Plan to join us. We are less than a month out, and we're getting pumped. All right, Jonathan is on the line in Atlanta. What's going on, Jonathan?
Hey, George and John.
Hey.
Deadly duo. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
How can we help today?
Well, just to start this off, I got a lot of pressure on me, and I'm just trying to figure out my options, I guess you could say.
What kind of pressure?
Well, yeah, where's that pressure coming from?
My family, unfortunately.
Wife, kids, who? Who exactly?
My dad, my brother.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
All right. They don't get a vote. Are you hear me? I'm not even laughing.
Yeah.
Normally I'm kind of a clown. I'm not even laughing. I can hear it in your voice, dude. They're burying you. They don't get that privilege anymore. What's going on?
Well, both my brother and dad, they
don't care about them. Tell me about you. What's going on with you?
I'm stressed out, man.
I know you are. I can hear it. I can hear it.
Stressed.
What's up?
I'm looking a way to increase my income so that I can have like a good nest egg for my future, and also like gain some skills and whatnot. I'm only making $36,000 a year right now, and I don't know if I'm like heading in the right path.
What do you do for work?
I'm a Lowe's sales specialist. Like I sell like washing machines and fridges and all that stuff.
Okay. Did you go to school?
No. I almost did, but I backed out at the last second.
Okay. So what are you wanting to do? If we snapped our fingers and you had a career, do you have something in mind? You're like, this is really what I'm aiming at? Or are you totally lost in this space?
If I'm going to be honest, a bit of both, but I always wanted to own my own business. I do have a small business right now. Like I make small little wooden tech decks and all that, and I sell it out to people. It's a small business, but like in the future, I would actually love to upgrade to full-size skateboards, you know.
Okay. So kind of woodworking and with a niche of making skateboards.
Yeah, and like sales here and there. Like I'm also really good at sales for my job as well. Yeah.
And where's the pressure coming from? Are your brother and dad like, hey, dude, you're not doing well? Like, what are they saying to you?
Well, this is going to sound weird. It's quite the opposite, actually. They're telling me, like, oh, like, we see something in you. We think you can be successful and all that stuff. And they've been saying that, like, I guess all of my life. And honestly,
what's their end game here?
Let them down. I'm sorry?
What's their end game with this? Do they have a business together or something they want you in on? What's the heart behind that?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Dude, they see their brother and their son making $36,000 a year as a salesman as a 23-year-old. And I know that's not a ton of money, but in the place that you're doing that, you're doing a good job. And you help guys like me who literally know nothing. And I come into Lowe's and I say, hey, can you help? And you're like, yeah, I got you. What do you need? I think beneath your dad and your brother, you don't like you, man. I can hear it. Why do you think why do you think you have failed, man? You're 23. You're learning the ropes of a huge corporation and how to sell and helping out people from elderly folks to knuckleheads like me to even more knuckleheads like George. Like you're helping, like you're learning how things work. You're 23 years old. And if you figure out sales at 23 and 24 and 25, and then all of a sudden you're running the department or you move on to selling oil equipment, you're a multi-millionaire. But you don't like you, dude. Why?
I feel like I could do better, I guess.
What does that mean? Paint me a pic. Be very specific. Paint me a picture. What does better mean?
I really want to help my dad, my brother, and
Stop. You. What does better mean? Because they love you. They see it in you. And I bet they're telling you that they see a spark in you because they're tired of watching their son and their brother walk around with their head hanging down. Or let me put it this way. You are making more money than I was at 23.
I don't think this is about money or nest eggs. I think you're not sure what your purpose is, and you're listening to a lot of voices, and you haven't really figured it out for yourself. And I'm not sure you believe in Jonathan anymore.
Well, that hit hard.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, man, close your eyes for a minute. You're 33. Not dad, not brother. What do you want to be doing, man?
I guess owning a business.
Okay.
Making sales, and yeah.
Then I would tell you, if you were my brother or you were my son, you are right where you need to be. And you probably need to be doing some stuff on the side because $36,000 is not a ton of money in today's economy. Or you need to be asking the folks at Lowe's, hey, what's the
growth path?
Yeah,
like?
How do I move up and sell bigger ticket items? I don't know a lot, but I know that a good salesman can move industry to industry. A good salesman is a great person to have around because they just know how to talk to people. They're good with relationships.
That skill transfers, and you can make crazy money
everywhere.
in sales. And we talk to those people on the show. So, Jonathan, we believe in you, and one of the ways we're going to help you believe that is by gifting you a few items. One is John's book, Building a Non-Anxious Life, because you said you're stressed. This is going to really help with some really tactical things you can do. Another one is Ken Coleman's book, From Paycheck to Purpose. That's going to help you figure out that clear path to doing the work you love. And finally, I'm going to give you Ken's new book, which is on pre-sale right now, Find the Work You're Wired to Do. It includes his Get Clear Career Assessment. I want you to take that, and it's going to give you a much better picture. You're going to call us back and say, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I'm feeling so much more encouraged. I'm on the path. And stop listening to voices that aren't helping you grow, my man. We believe in you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Statistics show that half of Americans don't have enough life insurance, or they don't have any at all. I don't understand this, John. Why don't people want to take care of their family? They think they're going to die or something?
Well, I used to be one of those guys. I didn't even think about it. And one of my buddies said, hey, the only reason to not have life insurance is if you hate your wife and kids. And I immediately went and got term life insurance.
That's a gut punch.
And, you're telling me, and for decades, Dave, I've sat across people who've lost a spouse, They've lost somebody important to them.
Me too.
They don't know what to do next.
Me
right?
too. I mean, you're going to have a crisis here. And, you got two options while you're sitting and talking to a young widow. She's concerned about how she's going to invest all this money properly and not mess this up, or she's concerned how she's going to eat tomorrow.
That's exactly
These are the
right.
two options.
And
take care of your dadgum family, man.
Term life insurance can replace income, pay off debts, cover funeral expenses, so your family can actually have the opportunity to just be sad.
Yeah.
To just miss you.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's saying I love you to your family. Term life insurance. Jeff Zander and the team at Zander Insurance makes it easy and affordable. I've used them personally for 25 years. They're the only people I trust. Go to Zander.com or call 800-356-4282.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. If you're enjoying this show, be sure to check out all of the other great shows on the Ramsey Network, including my friend Dr. John Delony's show on podcast and YouTube, and of course, George Kamel YouTube channel, which is popping off. Not quite as big as John's. John's has had a hockey stick in lately. I don't know what happened, John, but
yeah, I don't trust me.
The team's been doing a killer job. I don't think it has anything to do with you.
Zero to do with me.
But congratulations on all of the success, and of course, all of our personalities have some great shows out there. So if you get tired of the Ramsey Show, there's so much more to choose from, and it's free. So go check it out. Podcasts, YouTube. You can check out Ramsey Network or wherever you listen to podcasts and catch up this weekend. Joseph is down the road in Nashville, Tennessee. What's going on, Joseph?
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So my question, I just listened to the audiobook of the Baby Steps Millionaires, and I got a lot of good insight out of that. I put my $1,000 in savings, so I was moving on to step 2. And one question I have, I get a quarterly bonus at work, and it's usually around somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000. So I've got 2 credit cards that I'm looking at paying off, one $6,000 and one $7,500. So my question is kind of how would I take that extra money, and what's the best way to apply that to those cards? Just,
Well, I love that you're wanting to aggressively attack this debt. Do you have any other cash in the bank?
Just my regular cash flow, as far as my regular job.
Okay.
So I do pay a little more, than the minimum balance on those. So I'm trying to knock it down that way, but I definitely want to leverage these quarterly bonuses to help me, knock out those big chunks.
Well, with the debt snowball, you would just lay them out smallest to largest, ignoring the interest rate, and that bonus would cut that one 6K card down to 3, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
And you'd make minimum payments on the other card and keep attacking that smaller one until it's gone. And then you'll free up that payment. You can roll that into the $7,500 credit card and, again, aggressively attack that one. Is that all of your debt?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't have any car payments. I do have a house, so, obviously that would be the next step.
Okay. What's your household income?
I am the only income earner, and I make a salary of $124,000 before the bonuses.
Wonderful. What caused you to go into this credit card debt if you're making $124,000?
Well, at the time, it was these weren't really typical spending habits. I don't really leverage those cards for clothes or any shopping or anything like that. I had some incidentals pop up, like an air conditioning unit go out, and things of that nature, where I just didn't have the emergency fund set aside, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what spawned me into looking into setting myself up for a better situation for the future.
Yeah,
getting my finances in order.
Well, you'll be down to about $10K of debt after this bonus, and making $124K. I would set a very aggressive goal to go, hey, could I put an extra $2,000 this month on this card? I'm going to be done in 5 months, and then I'm going to start building that fully funded emergency fund, and that becomes your I never need to go into debt again fund. And when I cut up those credit cards, man, this amazing thing happened. I was unable to go into debt. I couldn't do it. You just can't do it by overdrafting your checking account. And so I think that's a great plan for you. As soon as you get these cards paid off, cut them up and never look back. Kyle's up next in Des Moines. What is going on, Kyle?
How's it going, guys?
We're doing great. How are you?
Good. Yeah, so I'm calling. I have about $78K in debt. The majority, I mean, it's like 35, 37 is my house, and like 26 is vehicle, and then I have the remainder is like a student loan.
You only owe $35K on your house?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
What's it worth?
And with the housing market right now, I honestly don't know. I mean, I'm in Iowa. I have an acreage, so
cool.
It's a 5-bedroom house on 6 acres, but
so $42 million in today's market. Well done.
Right. But so I have a large family. I have 4 children and a fiance. And we had discussed possibly selling my acreage to kind of eliminate the debt. And there's like a situation where we could possibly get some land and throw a house on, but then it's like, okay, then we're just acquiring more debt, I'm sure. But I guess my main question is should I attack my vehicle first? I'm new to Dave's strategy, so
I'm a guy who's got a house on some acreage, and I would tell you, let's exhaust every possibility before you start selling dirt. Is that fair?
Yeah.
How much do you make? What's your household income?
I bring in about $70K a year.
Okay.
My fiance, we just had a kid last year, so she's kind of just doing odds and ends stuff to make ends meet right now.
Okay. Are you guys struggling to just pay the bills right now?
Kind of, but not really. I think it's more lifestyle living that's affecting us. What's
the car worth or the truck?
It's a Kia Sorento. I honestly haven't even looked it up, but
because if you're really feeling the pain, you could always downgrade in car and pay cash. And
if I'm you right now, I would sell that car before the weekend is over.
Right. Yeah, because we had talked about, like, she didn't want to go the minivan route. I was all about the minivan route, but so we ended up going with the SUV because of winters here in Iowa. But I've kind of been pushing the minivan route more into her head. So
I would go with the used Camry route for a while.
Yeah.
And I know it makes it a pain for getting strollers in and out and car seats in and out. I get that. I got kids. But right now y'all are broke. And I would rather give up the convenience on the day-to-day stuff and bring peace back into my house.
Right.
I would sell that car, and that would knock off, half your debt right there.
Yeah.
Your house, we don't even consider that part of your consumer debt problem, right? So you back your house up for a second, pay your car off. I mean, sell your car.
And the student loan's the smallest, right?
$10,000 car, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So if you sold this car, downgraded, knocked out the student loans, that just leaves your mortgage. And so are you doing an investing right now?
No, I'm honestly paycheck to paycheck. I need to get on budgeting somehow, some way. Like
well, I'll give you the Spark Notes here, and then we'll give you a free tool to help you with the next step. So the baby steps, as they're laid out, they've been working for 30 years when Dave came up with them in this order, and they work every time you work it. So baby step 1 is $1,000. You have $1,000 in the bank?
Yes.
Good. Okay, baby step 2 is going to be knocking out all of your consumer debt, everything except the house, using the debt snowball method. And all that means is smallest to largest balance, ignoring the interest rate, throwing as much as you can on the smallest debt, make minimum payments on the rest.
Okay, and I've done that. I mean, I just knocked, this last week, I knocked out $8-9K in credit card and those.
Amazing.
I heard you guys on the last guy.
Good.
And
thank you for listening.
Cut those damn credit cards up, correct? Just cut them up.
Cut them up, close the accounts. They have not been a blessing to you, and they will not be in the future because you're the secret sauce. Your income, not a credit card company's cash back or points. And that freed me when I did that when I was a young man, or 11 years ago now.
Quick question, and I don't mean to take up all your guys' time, but so Dave Ramsey, he's basically, don't even worry about your credit score, right? Because I'm assuming when I cut those credit cards, my credit score is just going to tank.
It might take a temporary dip.
My credit score is 0.
Right.
Right. The funny thing is when you think about it, why stress about credit scores? Credit scores allow you to take on more debt. And so our job is to help people get out of debt.
Yeah, and that's what I caught from the last conversation that you had with the other guy.
You already have a house, so you're good. What do you need a credit score for?
Kyle, if I gave you $1 million today, $1 million, your credit score would stay the exact same.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss on there.
Yeah, your credit score would stay the exact same because it's not a reflection of your wealth. Your checking account is, your bank account is, not your credit score.
Yeah. Okay, so from your guys' perspective, on 38, like, I need to take on more jobs to become a millionaire, correct?
It's not necessarily more jobs. You do need to increase your income. You got 4 kids, and you have a great income, but, man, we got a ways to go. So you're 38, you still got a good, 30 working years left to clean this up and build a nest egg. And we're going to help you. We're going to gift you Financial Peace University. Watch all 9 lessons with your spouse. We're also going to give you every dollar premium to make a plan for every one of those dollars coming in. This is The Ramsey Show. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm hosting today with my friend Dr. John Delony. I'm George Kamel. Give us a call at 888-825-5225 if you want to talk about money, relationships, emotional health, boundaries, or lack thereof. John is going to be your guy for that. And he's been sitting with hurting people for 20 years now, helping them navigate relationships and take the right next step. And of course, classically, if you want to talk money, I'm ready. Let's do this thing. Liz is on the line in Houston to kick us off. What's going on, Liz?
Hey, guys. First of all, thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for calling. Hey, before you ask your question, what's happening to our Astros, Liz?
Don't get me started.
I'm trying not to get started myself, but all right, we can talk offline because I'm having trouble sleeping
Liz
at
up
night.
Here.
I know. So the problem is, so I'm 60. I'm a nurse. My husband's 69. He's retired, and I guess retirement and running around and living the life, which he should after 40 years in the oil field. He got into gambling. And so he'd, run up to Oklahoma and do some gambling and all this. So
how bad is it?
So last August, I really got involved with the Ramsey stuff. And I thought, wow, this is pretty impressive. And so I got his book, the Financial Freedom. And then I also got Dr. Delony's book of The Non-Anxious Life, because he was stressed about, retired and all that and kind of running around, didn't really know what to do after being such a workaholic. And so since then, he's gotten help for the gambling. He's stopped. I mean, it's like it was a phase, but that phase left us about $150,000 in debt.
What kind of debt? Credit cards?
Well, credit cards, yes. Credit cards.
God Almighty.
Yes, and I know. And he was, really embarrassed. And how I found out about this, I mean, I have a few credit cards, and I'll use them, go to work, get gas, whatever, pay them off, whatever. And so he's always had his own credit cards, business credit cards, and so forth. And I know it sounds irresponsible because he's so responsible, never paid attention. And never been a problem before, this. So I got the Financial Freedom book, and I was going through everything, and I was like, okay, let's lay everything out. And he very shamefacedly produced these bills. And
did your heart stop, Liz?
Yeah, well, I'm an ER nurse, so it takes a lot to stop that. But I was put on pause pretty good, and I was like, "Wow, babe," and he's like, "I know." So got him some help for that, He's doing other things now, got involved in hobbies and so forth. So it's not a problem anymore.
Do you still have open revolving accounts at your home?
Right.
No.
So
do you?
Do we have what now, sir?
Do you still have open revolving accounts at your home?
What does that mean?
Do y'all still have access to credit in your home?
Oh, no. That's the first thing we did was set up the credit card.
Okay. All right.
What is your minimum payment on these cards altogether?
Altogether, I would say probably $4,000 a month.
What do you guys bring home every month?
About $7,500.
Are you able to eat right now? What are your other expenses?
Well, we actually don't have any. Our property's paid for, land, house.
Where is he working right now?
Vehicles. He's not.
Yeah, his butt needs to go back to work tomorrow. And this is part of his getting well, because he's not, you don't just flip a $140,000 gambling hole switch like this.
Yeah.
He needs to go back to work tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah. We've already had that talk, and he's got some resumes out.
I'm talking go to Starbucks. I would love to have a 70-year-old Oklahoman oil field worker making my latte for me. That'd be amazing. But he has to. He is gonna bathe. He is gonna bathe in shame if he is not a participant in helping make this home whole again.
Right.
And you can have all the conversations, but you got to. You're thinking of selling. What are you thinking of selling?
Well, we actually sold a car already.
Okay.
Sold a little car and got that and put that immediately onto a credit card.
Okay.
We've paid off two.
Okay.
And there are 7 more to go.
Okay.
And that's going well. So we have assets. We probably have 130 in a 401k.
Go to the next one.
No, I'm just laying it out.
Okay.
So we have 130 in a 401k, and then the rest of the investments all together, Fidelity and Vanguard and what have you, total up to about 350. Almost 400, actually. It's like 380 something.
But that's your total nest egg?
Well, that was our total nest egg, and then we also own land, quite a bit of high-dollar land, and which we don't want to sell. So
what does quite a bit of high-dollar land mean? How much?
Well, north of Houston, it's Houston's moving up that way, so we have our homestead, which is about 7 acres with the home on it, and then we have land across. Also in the same little town that's about 3.5 acres. Altogether, that whole holding is worth about $1 million.
I would sell that 3 acres of land.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you don't want to, but I can't tell from your voice, Liz. I've talked to a lot of people over the years who are with folks in this very similar situation that they found out that their spouse has massive amounts of debt, whether it's gambling or otherwise. I don't know if your years as an ER nurse have. I've been around some trauma medical providers who are basically like walking Xanaxes. Nothing rattles them anymore, and that may be you. Or if you are simmering.
Well, no Xanax on board, but just super patient, and the fact that we've made good headway and the gambling stopped. And
I don't think. I'm wondering if you fully metabolized how bad this is. We call it financial infidelity.
Probably not.
Do you know what the interest rate is on these cards?
Yes. The cash advances alone are like 30%.
Oh, my God.
So listen, part of the hole that was dug is going to be rectified with part of your dream that y'all had.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a cost to this.
Right.
And either he goes to work tomorrow and says, I can make $50,000 over the next 3 years, and 100% of that goes to paying this off. And I was going to be retired from 70, 71, 72, 73, and now I'm not. Or part of your $1 million retirement, your land holding, is going to go to dig yourself out of this shovel. There is no way that your life doesn't look different. Y'all are trying to just nickel and dime this sucker,
It's not going to work when you have
work.
$5,000 in interest alone happening each month. Wow. So you got to get rid of this. You got to sell these acres. I don't want you decimating this nest egg and unplugging all this growth because there's not much there to begin with to get you to live for the next 30 years.
Do not sell your investments, yeah.
So I would sell the land first. I'm so sorry. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. We've got a lot of fun things launching around here, and one of those is Ken Coleman's Get Clear assessment paired with his new book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do. And so the Get Clear assessment has been going gangbusters. It's been helping a lot of people. And so this book is going to help people live out the principles and get a really clear picture of the work they do best and love the most and how to use these results in their job search. So the assessment and book combo will answer 4 of life's biggest questions: who you are, why you're wired that way, what you want to do professionally, and how to get there. And this self-awareness is going to point you in the right direction, give you clarity and confidence. So you can pre-order the Get Clear assessment, Find the Work You're Wired to Do right now. You'll also get the audiobook and ebook for free along with the assessment and the book. A lot of good stuff. Go pre-order it at RamseySolutions.com/store. All right, let's go to the phones. Howard is in Indianapolis. What is going on, Howard?
Basically, it's kind of a relationship and financial thing. I currently have a girlfriend. We've been living together for 4 years. So I guess the thing that I haven't moved forward, one of the reasons for making it a full relationship, marriage, and all that stuff, is financial. I'm a responsible person, I feel, and she kind of never wants to talk about the budget, even though she wants my help sometimes. And she has an attitude like, I do my thing with my own money, but yet when she wants money or help a little bit, I'm always there. So I feel I have the right to, especially, like I said, I have one credit card under my name that she got for a washing machine that it could have been paid off, has not been paid off, and then some other things down the road too.
Wow,
bro,
you just spit a lot at us.
It's yeah. Well, I'm trying to be quick. She said be quick, but it's not as complicated as it may sound, but it is. To me,
at first blush, this sounds a lot like Howard's fault. She has a credit card in your name that she used.
My background, I'm pretty responsible, meaning because my dad was a huge gambler, so me and my siblings are pretty responsible with money. And I guess the point is she has the money to do stuff if she would budget and we'd work together, but she doesn't want to work together. And if I confront her about it, it's almost like not my business, but yet when you, like the other day, she needed some money to help pay a bill, even though really if she budgets her money, there's no reason why we can't.
Hey, hold on, Howard. You called in. How honest can I be with you?
Oh, brutal. I'm upfront and brutal. Believe me.
I don't think that you are. You're totally good.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, totally.
All right. This relationship is long over.
Okay.
Long over. And here's what I mean.
Look, I've been told that before.
Okay. Money is a symptom. And if you, as a guy who grew up in a traumatic household, with let's take money off the table. You grew up in a household and dad was an alcoholic and he was abusive and the whole house was electric. Yeah. And you put a little GPS pin in alcohol and you committed, I'm never going to drink. And you were with somebody and you were planning on spending the rest of your life with them. You've been with them 4 years. You'll share a house. You'll do this life together. Okay. And you would say, hey, I don't want to be around alcohol. And every night she walked in with a bottle of wine and a vodka tonic and was like, I don't give a crap what you think. It's my life. I'm going to drink. Everyone in your world, including you, would know this person is not willing to align values with you. She does not care what you think. And so forget the money thing. Any relationship has to have two people that will sit down at a table and say, hey, this scares me to death. And the other person says, I'm in or I'm out. And y'all keep making this about money. And here's where this leads, which is right where you are. Bro, you think you're better than her. And the only power leverage she has over a guy that thinks he's better than her is this, I'm going to do whatever I want. And that's the way she can hit the other side of the teeter-totter. And that's why I tell you, y'all are just in a playground going up and down on the teeter-totter. I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. Yeah, well, I can do whatever I want. And I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. It's going up and down, up and down.
I got you.
See what I'm saying? At some point, you got to get off the teeter-totter and say, I love you. And I have to have somebody who's willing to sit down at a table and hear me when I say I'm scared to death about how you spend money, about how we do life.
I agree, and you know what, honestly, and sounds bad, it's almost like we're separate. I've taken my own entity and started taking care of myself financially individually, which is bad in a relationship, but I've done that.
Well, but I mean, here's the thing, when I say it's over, y'all are roommates. Who's going to have the courage to sit down and say, what are we doing?
I got you.
Because now you're choosing on a daily basis, both of you are, to live in misery. Y'all both are worth more than that. That's a strange choice to make in a country where you can kind of do what you want, right?
We have the means to work together, but she just doesn't want to. We don't. I'm not saying we're rich, but we have the means to work together, absolutely. But we just don't do it.
But you understand y'all are both choosing that, right?
Yes, I totally.
Okay. What's your path back?
What's my path back to what? Trying to get this to.
All right, let me ask you this: are you done, dude? Are you done? It sounds like you're done. It sounds like we're like having nachos at a bar, and you're about to break up with her, and you're just like and this, and I've already.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Honestly, I held off. I didn't talk about. Like I said, I just recently found out about that bill that wasn't paid because I kept getting
Hey!
Text messages.
You and I, and all the other 20 million people listening to this know, this is not the only thing that is divided in your home.
Oh my God!
Right?
You're probably right, but I'll say this: I put this off till I come back. I'm actually going on a trip, and then I'm coming back. I didn't want to put this off and have a fight before, and then all that stuff. That's it's funny.
But I'm right?
Oh, you are absolutely right. I'm not disagreeing with what you say.
Okay. At some point, one of you has to be the adult and turn the lights on, turn the music off, stop the party, and say, hey, life is too short for us to be this far apart and for this to dishonor each other this much every single day of our lives. We have to have an honest conversation about where things are. And more importantly, are we both going to continue to do this tomorrow? Do I think everything has to be over forever? No. But it's going to take two people who have not acted like adults deciding we're going to act like adults and wade into some really murky water and figure this thing out to get to the other side.
Okay, I agree. And one last thing, the hard part of our separation is she's so focused on her career, which she's trying to establish in real estate, and that's the other part. But that's another story, different day. So.
No. It's exactly what you said. You've created your own life. She's created her life. Did you ever see the Office episode where Michael and Jim are co-managers? That's y'all. Y'all are co-managers of the house. And that is a terrible place to build intimacy, raise a family, and create legacy.
Oh, my God.
And what makes it messier is you guys already live together.
Yeah. Now you get to unwind that. And people call us like...
It's very mechanical now. You're right.
But at some point you wake up and you go, wait, this is just like a cool roommate that I have to like beg for the bills from. I mean, that's not a fun way to live.
No, yeah, I got you.
And are you guys splitting bills right now like down the middle and you like Venmo each other? How does this work?
Really, it started out because, we never really talked about it, so we're like roommates. So I kind of made the assessment initially, and I stopped it 6 months into it three years ago. I paid like $1,000 towards her mortgage, basically, which was her mortgage at the time.
Wait, you live in her house?
Yes.
Well, this just got interesting.
Bro.
She has a son and daughter. Yeah, I live in her house.
So you're about to get evicted.
No, you're gonna have to find your own place. And let me be honest with you.
I did stuff stupid. You're in love. I got rid of all my. I guess I get rid of all my furniture. I did stupid stuff.
Okay, I want you. If y'all do end up separating, I want you to be a grown up about it. And we're not gonna like divide this. That's my futon. That's my.
No, I don't get into that. Look, when I divorced my years ago, lady, I left my shit. I mean.
So you're in the same boat here.
Sorry.
Here's the deal. If George and I I guess if this ever happens, that wouldn't be great. But if George and I were college roommates, let's go back that far, we would have better arrangements than y'all have.
Well, we'd be doing karate in the garage.
We'd be doing karate in the garage for sure, right? And sword fighting on the front yard. But we would also have talked about
clear expectations.
Yeah, clear expectations. Who's paying what bills? Y'all haven't even done that. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, my brother. I'm committed to reconciliation, but this one's going to take some skills that I don't know that you two have. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, our friend Rachel Cruz is on the road right now. She just launched her latest kids book, the second installment, I'm Glad for Where I Am, a beautiful book about contentment. And I'm excited to read it to my 7-month-old. She doesn't really know what's going on, but she likes the pictures so far.
Are you glad for where you are, George?
I am. I'm in the studio with John.
Off the air, you were just telling me you're not glad for where you are.
That's not true. Bold-faced lie. You sit on a throne of lies. You're not Santa Claus.
I think I was telling the truth there.
But hey, if you are in the Dallas area, good news for you. Rachel Cruz will be there tomorrow, April 20th, at the Lincoln Park Barnes & Noble from 1 to 2 p.m. So go join her. She's doing a book reading to the children's, and if you're just a grown adult with no kids and you just want to meet Rachel, you can do that. That's your prerogative.
And if you're ever wondering if he's real or not, her smoke show of a husband, Winston, has been seen.
Oh, he was in L.A. on the L.A.
with
stop.
her too. So
yeah.
Maybe he'll make a surprise show up also.
That's really why people would show up, to hope for a Winston sighting. So
he's better at every part of life than I am.
He really is. He's who we all want to be. We're very jealous. But hey, go see Rachel on her book tour for I'm Glad for Where I Am. Dallas is the next stop, the 20th, 1 to 2 p.m. Lincoln Park, Barnes & Noble. And she'll love, and she's been telling us. She texted us, said, hey, everyone's asking about where's John and George. And we have to tell them that we were not invited.
Yeah, we weren't invited. Someone's got to keep the show going.
That's right. Someone has to heal America.
Carousing around the country.
Robert is up next in Fort Worth, Texas. Robert, what's going on?
Going good. How's it going, guys? Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So I am potentially getting ready to start doing a development deal on some property that I own here in the Arlington area. We're like a block away from this Cowboy Stadium. I have currently no debt. We do as much as we can to stay out of debt. And taking on this construction loan obviously would be a considerable amount of debt. I don't have exact numbers yet, but I'm imagining, right around $1 million. The property fully developed would be, worth $2 million plus.
What's your business?
My business is not real estate at all.
Where did this come from?
I'm sorry?
Where did this opportunity come from?
Well, long story short, I inherited these properties. My mother and my father both passed away. I'm 37. My parents passed in my 20s. All of a sudden going from not having really anything to managing, things that I wasn't aware of, I didn't really do much, right? I just kind of a hold pattern, be very safe with everything. We were mainly focusing on the business, trying to keep it going. After she passed away, we had to close her business, start our own, at which you asked earlier. We sell and dispense hearing aids and help people hear better. And so I have this property that, when I inherited it was, maybe around $100,000. Now it's, 370 something grand. This is just the appraisal value, right? I'm sure it would sell for a lot more. The proximity to the Cowboy Stadium is what's driving this, because I know that this property is very valuable.
So what's your goal here? You have a property on that plot of land right now. What are you wanting to do?
Yeah. I want to turn it into a fourplex.
Okay. And whose idea was this?
That's mine.
All I can tell you is what I would do. I would not take a gift that comes attached to the memory of two really important people to me and leverage it for $1 million loan on a fourplex in the shadow of Cowboy Stadium. I would sell that property, and I would take the $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000 you'll get for it, and I'd write a letter to my mom that I'm never going to send her, obviously, but I would thank her for her fidelity and her stewardship and let her know, Mom, I'm going to not put my family on the block. I'm going to take care of this thing and honor this money. Thank you. That's what I would do with it.
Okay. And so the calculation between the selling the property, because currently we have our current business on it, right? I have no problem keeping the property as is. And just keeping my business on it, and yeah, the selling the property has come up. It's one of those things that we do. We rent out part of the property for Airbnb. We also run our business, and we also have a parking business for the stadium on there. So we're really.
And this is profitable. I'm guessing all of these things.
Oh yeah.
What's your household income?
It's about $150 after everything.
Okay.
And again, we're almost no debt. We only owe about $90,000 on the house, and so we're in a good situation, and we're very blessed, and we know this is.
And is your goal to rent this fourplex?
My goal is
to sell it.
I want my son to have the benefit of what I had when my parents passed. We just had a son. He's a year old now.
Won't he have that even if you stay where you are with what you have?
Well, like you said, to be a steward of it is not only to hold it, it's to do what you can with it to improve, right? And so I want.
But you have a cash flowing asset that's paid for, and you're telling me you want to go $1 million into debt with a whole lot of risk in hopes to grow this asset.
Well, and that's what I'm calling.
And knowing without a doubt that by the time your kid gets to be 25 to inherit this asset, the Cowboys will have moved somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Or they'll be doing some construction project in eminent domain this property anyway. You see what I'm saying? I would love to see you have $500,000 and put that away in a good growth stock mutual fund and hand him $10 million cash.
Okay.
And your primary residence, you pay that off. That becomes an asset on top of your business. And so I'm not worried about legacy. I think behind all of this is also a little bit of starry-eyed, man, we can make some serious money here.
Absolutely. No denying that at all. But again, I'm coming from a place of ignorance, right? I'm trying to find the best way.
Well, I mean, we are not real estate experts, but we are experts on our opinion. And I'll tell you how Dave has built this place. He got burned in real estate. He had a few million in debt, as you probably know his story, going bankrupt in the 80s. And I'll tell you, a lot of people don't even believe this, but he cash flowed this entire property that we're sitting in right now. We moved at the speed of cash. And he could have done it much sooner with other people's money, but he's been there and he's done that. And the financial weight it carries, the emotional weight, the spiritual weight it carries was not worth it to him to ever have to report to a lender ever again. And
I mean, I feel that, yeah.
So then it turns into, okay, well, how could we cash flow this $1 million project? Well, it might take us getting the income up for the business. What else could we do? How could we put away $200,000 for 5 years and do this 5 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would be doing if I was in your shoes.
Okay.
So it might work out. You can do it your way. I'm not saying it's going to all be a house of cards. I'm just saying we've seen enough of these stories to know the starry-eyed thing that looks good on paper ends up being the next call on the Ramsey show where they went, we're $1 million in debt and this property's been a nightmare and it's not cash flowing. Should we sell it?
Well, and that is, I think the best thing I could tell you is what I would do in my own house. And that'd be really cool if my parents passed away and left me a $100,000 piece of property that's suddenly worth 5-6x what it was. That'd be amazing. And I think that in and of itself is beautiful. And I think when we don't have a psychology for what the word enough is or what a win is, it's easy to go, yeah, what about this? What about this? What about this? And there's always some guy at the bar that's like, well, if I was you, I would. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. But it's cool to say it when it's somebody else's money and somebody else's life and somebody else's memorial to their mom and dad, like their stewardship.
And we don't say this because we're like, well, they work for Dave Ramsey. No, we say it as guys who had a bunch of debt and now don't have any debt, and we like this way a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And nothing in our hearts wants to go back. So I hope that helps, Robert, making this decision. It's a big one. I hope you make the one that's right for you and your family. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Psalm 86:11. Teach me your way, Lord, that I may rely on your faithfulness. Give me an undivided heart that I may fear your name. Mark Twain said, don't let schooling interfere with your education. What a man of wit he was. A way with words he had. I don't know why I talk like that, John. I'm sorry. I'm here with Dr. John Delony. I'm George Kamel. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Shelby is up next in Houston. What's happening, Shelby?
Hi.
Hey.
So let me get to it. So my husband had a business for about 5 years, and he recently closed that business in February. It was a construction business. He basically racked up about $176,000 worth of debt on material from one distributor. And that distributor is now suing him personally because he signed a personal guarantee for that debt, I don't know, a couple of years ago whenever he started to incur it. So my question is, does he personally file bankruptcy, or do we use our home? We have a house that's probably worth between $320,000 and $350,000, and we owe about $90,000 on it. Do we sell it or get an additional home equity loan on top of what we already owe and make an agreement, for the 176, try to get them to take less?
Is this all the debt you have?
Yeah, we really don't have a lot of debt. I have a car, but the car it's minimal. I think it only has like $8,000.
No, you have a lot of debt. I don't know if you missed the part where you have $176,000 in debt.
Yes, we do have that.
Plus $8,000 on the car?
Yes, and then $90,000 on the house.
Okay, let's remove the house out of the debt for now.
Okay.
I want to take bankruptcy off the table.
Okay.
Okay. What's he doing now?
That's not necessary.
What's he doing right now for a job?
He currently works as an electrician, so he is working
full time.
Is he making money?
Yeah. Yeah, he makes good money now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's way better than when he had with the business.
And what are you working outside the home?
No, sir. I stay home with my kids.
Okay. How old are you two?
I am 32, I think 32, and he's almost 40.
Okay. And what's the household income with his electrician job?
I would say yearly he's at like $115,000.
Wonderful. Okay. And what has his communication been with this distributor about the debt?
They are willing to negotiate some kind of agreement directly with us at the moment because it's not with collections.
Okay.
But they are, currently trying to serve him and sue him for it. But they are willing to negotiate.
They're only trying to
talking
sue
a lump
him.
sum?
Well, they're only trying to sue him because he's avoided them like the plague, hasn't he?
No, this actually all recently just happened.
Well, did he think this debt would just disappear because he closed the business?
No, we actually, when he closed it in February, we tried to make an agreement with them on hey, we will sell our equipment or give you the equipment and you can have the money in return for the debt. And then they took like 3 weeks, 4 weeks to decide they didn't want to do that. And then they never called us to tell us they didn't want to do it. And then they filed a suit to.
Right. So where's all the equipment now?
At our house. But there's not much. It's probably worth maybe like $30,000 altogether, what he has.
Okay, so if you sold everything you could in sight that wasn't tied down before you sold the house, how much could that net you guys?
His tools, his guitars, his fishing boat, like everything.
Like 30.
Okay.
Our house is really the only thing we have value of.
Okay, so that knocks it down to 146. Could he then get on a payment plan and say, listen, here's my plan. I'm going to pay this off in this amount of time? Or are they not going to be willing to negotiate?
I about that, but they want somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000 a month.
Which you guys simply don't have.
We just can't do that. No.
How old are your kids?
A 6-year-old and a 1-year-old.
I don't see a scenario where I think it's a terrible idea to sell your house. I think it's a terrible idea to go into bankruptcy. But I think it might be a situation where you're going to have to go work for a few years. And he's going to have to work and then work on top of that and then take side jobs on top of those 2 jobs. And
so do you let it go to collections? Like, what do you...
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If they sue you and get a judgment, they're going to do a forensic accounting of what you can actually pay, and they'll either garnish your wages or you'll have to turn over an X amount of dollars each month. And the judge is going to see you can't do $10,000 a month. And so here you have to do $4,500. Like, it's going to end up in the same way for them anyway. And if you say, I can write you a check for $30,000 as a down payment, I will pay you $5,000 a month or $4,500 a month for the next X amount of months until this thing is paid off at 7% interest or whatever the thing is, and I'm going to make this agreement, I'll sign it. You got to remember that as far as they're concerned, your husband's signature doesn't mean a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
And they may want to go get a judgment, and I don't blame them. And they may want to go say, no, we want a bank to secure this. Well, I get all that. It is what it is. But what I don't want you guys doing is freaking out and running and jumping off a cliff just because you have this what feels like a sword of Damocles hanging over your neck when it's really not, right?
Yeah.
So bankruptcy is off the table. Selling the house is a worst case scenario.
Yeah, I just worry if they garnish his wages, he's the only income for our house.
I think you have to there's not going to be a way you get through this without your knuckles getting pretty skinned
Either
up.
way, he's making huge payments to pay this off, or they're garnishing it. So either way, you're going to have to learn to live on less.
And if you think that is painful, you having to go to work with a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, I promise the bankruptcy proceeding will be infinitely more painful. Selling your house and going to a 2-bedroom apartment will be infinitely more painful than you going to get a job, being angry every day. You're going to have to deal with your anger and your grief over this deal.
Yeah, I just quit my job.
Okay. Well,
I mean, a month ago to be with my kids.
It may not work out because y'all are broke, right?
Yeah.
And I get that that's infuriating and enraging, and it's also reality.
Okay, so no bankruptcy, worst case scenario, sell the house, or
and when I say worst case scenario,
I hope we can make a payment.
I think you sit down and say, we'll write you a check for $30,000. And I think in the meantime, he comes up with another 10 and you'll say, we'll write you a check for $40,000 cash. And I will sign a promissory agreement for, I'll pay you this much.
And you basically create a new debt agreement for the next 2 years, 3 years to pay this off aggressively.
And if they say no, then all you say is, we can't afford anything else. Like, that's what we got.
About a 401k, like use money from a 401k?
No.
Okay.
You're going to, that will rob you of not only income taxes you'll pay on that, but also the penalty, another 10% on top of that. So it's like borrowing money at 30-something% interest.
Have y'all talked to an attorney yet?
No.
Okay, I would have that conversation because I can't give you legal advice, but it's my memory that into the state of Texas, bankruptcy doesn't include your home. So even if you file, they would lose everything if you file bankruptcy. They have a vested interest in you paying them back too.
Yeah, we have more of a hand on getting them to take less than.
Well, I don't even think you should get them to take less. I think your husband took that money. I think y'all should pay it back, but I think you have to be honest about how you can pay it back.
how we can afford it.
And it also might mean he is working an extra 30 hours a week. He gets his income up to $200K, and now we're making $9,000-$10,000 payments every month to pay this off. And
But
that's not going to be fun.
Underneath all of this, a month ago, before you got this letter, this intent to sue, you had a picture of your life. You quit your job. He's making good money. You finally got out from a bad business he was working in. You've watched your husband just wither away. He closed the business. He got an electrician's job. He's making good money. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom like I've wanted to. And all that's gone now.
And
you
hey,
just got
business
to own that
owners,
and grieve it and own it. And then let's head right into it.
let this be a lesson to all of you small business owners out there when you call us and say, hey, we're going to make money off all this equipment. Don't worry, it's going to be great. This is what happens. This is why we steer you away from taking on any business debt and why you should run your business debt-free the EntreLeadership way. Because it creates more peace, less risk, and a higher chance of success. And even if you fail, at least you don't owe people hundreds of thousands of dollars. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Thank you to John Delony and all the folks in the booth, and you, America. We'll be back before you know it.